I
Ooh,
see
great.
we are live and we have some people in the audience. Mm. And I see, so I'm going to say hi to Sue. And I know I saw Pam join. So I am so excited to be here with my friend Brenda. And so Brenda, I guess we should just kind of get started. I'm in at Richmond. For anyone who doesn't know me, my company is Black Dog Marketing Strategies, and I am primarily a video first social media strategist. And my co-host and partner Brenda will introduce herself.
Hey, I am Brenda Meller. I am a marketing and LinkedIn coach. I help the self employed executives and corporate teams to get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And I also love all things marketing. And Annette and I are connected through my Marketing with Meller membership and learning community. And I was delighted when she asked me to join her for her very first Substack Live. So congrats on this, Annette. So excited for you.
Well, thank you, thank you. So we're just doing, since it's our first, give us a thumbs up if you can hear us both clearly. And again, I am on also watching the chat so I'm getting, I think, some thumbs up that you all hear us fine. Okay, so maybe it's just us not hearing each other as well. So, I thought that this would be a great topic because I think probably you get asked this as much as I do. The idea of, oh my God, what do I post? What do I post? So if it's okay with you, I'd love for you to kick us off with some suggestions, and then, maybe we could talk about that oh my God, personal, private, public
Yeah,
whole question. But you want to kick us off because you are the
sure.
LinkedIn woman here.
What we try. So generally I tell my clients you should be posting at least once a week on LinkedIn. So don't over stress about it. If you're thinking about like you don't really need to post more than once a week. Like if you're once a week minimum, you're good. You're out there. And I always think about in that when I am posting to try to reach one person, my ideal target audience, and I'm trying to get one person to read that message and to respond. I'm not really trying to reach the world, the 1 point whatever it is, 3 million people that are on LinkedIn, 1.3 billion, I should say, they're on LinkedIn. I'm trying to reach one person through my post. So I'm trying to speak to one person, conversational, bringing it a call to action, but I want to make sure it's coming across as informative, educational, maybe inspirational. Every now and again, it's salesy, but it doesn't have to be salesy every time, and it doesn't need to be posting every single day. So, does that help just to kind of give the lay of the land with regards to posting?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And, I love that you say that, you don't have to post every day because I think I get that too. It's like, oh my gosh. And I'm sure you remember that whole 365 or something that was like during the pandemic where people are like posting every single day for a year. And it was like this whole thing. Maybe you don't remember. I remember it.
Yeah, like I remember people having, and sometimes they have like um posting challenge, like post once a day for 30. You did something too, didn't you? Like go
Yeah,
challenge.
I mean, I tried that whole thing for 30 days and then I found out that I was just like posting to post and it wasn't,
Yeah,
it was just really kind of like who want to read it.
it was
So
check. Yeah.
I, I, I I'd love to jump in and just so everyone who's watching that we can see you in the chat. If you put questions in the chat, we're here. And so again, so excited. And G has joined us as well, and Marianne and someone else who I don't know. So anyway, thanks for being here. So the the idea of posting, I struggle sometimes with the whole idea of like, what am I going to post? And like you, I try to be inspirational. I try to mix it up, do some video because who wants to do video all the time? Do some well, not text, but carousels and kind of mix it up.
Hmm.
But I find that I try to, get some ideas from AI, but to also try to answer questions that people ask me, and I know that you do that too, that
Hmm.
if you have someone who has, asking you a question 5 times, then you make a video about it, or you teach it and
I
make a post about it, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn to do that from you too.
Hmm. So it's and when you say ask a question 5 times, it's not the same person asking the same question
No,
5.
no, 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 no. Oh, no,
It
no,
no,
no, nothing like
I
that. But
well,
when I get it from different, from different sources, because
right.
I find that a struggle too. Like, what am I going to post? And so I try to think of things that are going to, that people have asked me
Yeah.
repeatedly.
Mhm. Yeah, and even, like, if you're getting a question one time, like, I got an email from a client today, and he was sharing with me some of his results on LinkedIn, and then he asked a question. So instead of just replying to that one client email, I'm gonna do a featured Q&A on LinkedIn, and anyone can do this. So if people are asking you questions, whether they are clients or people in discovery calls or even your friends and family, Annette, I'm sure you get questions all the time about video because people know that you're a video person, and G, who's in the chat right now, she comes from an HR background, so she probably gets HR related questions and marketing questions and LinkedIn questions. And Sue Griffey works with people in career strategy, so she probably gets questions about resumes and job search and things like that. So instead of responding to just that one person, go on LinkedIn, do a featured question, type in their question, remove any personal identifying information, names, companies, details like that, and then answer and then just respond as if you were talking to that one person. Then after you're done posting it, share the link to the post with that person. Now you've got content, you've answered a question, and you're also helping to reach other people who might have a similar question in there. So it's easy, easy, easy peasy thing to do, so to speak.
Yeah, no, no, I love that. So you don't say Annette Richmond has asked me for the fifth time, what should
Oh,
I post on
God.
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
So, so, so I'm curious because I do kind of try to focus on video. I love video, and although I still hate to have my picture taken, I like hide. I don't like it, but I've gotten to the point, and that's what I tell people that if you do it enough, it just becomes something you do, and you don't think about it anymore. When I see video, I don't kind of see myself,
Yes.
and you lean a lot in leaning more and more into video. I see it with Pepper all the time. Pepper,
Mhm.
Pepper is Brenda's labby dog. We have two, Em and Katie. That's where my business name comes from, our little labby girls. But um, I always tell people with video to think of like one thing, though. I think sometimes people with content in general, and even with any kind of content, to stick with one thing and not try to, say everything. I think you call this kind of drinking from the from the water hose, the fire hose, from the fire hose.
Yeah, like focusing on one point, and what I try to do with my posts is I include one call to action. What do I want people to do next after reading the post? Is it comment below and tell me if you agree or disagree, or tag someone in that might find this helpful, or save this post for later. Sometimes, I'm doing like how to posts, like how to do this on LinkedIn, how to export your connections, how to mark yourself private or anonymous. And it's kind of like a step 1, 2, 3. And I don't know about you, Annette, but like sometimes I see these posts on LinkedIn and I'm scrolling through the feed as I'm getting ready to go walk Pepper, or, in between calls. And I want to say, like Richard Vanderblom's post as an example. I want to read this again later because there's something good here. So you can click on save. So that one action, just telling people click on save to, find this post again later. So giving them that one call to action. But some people don't even do the one call to action. They just they'll spew out information, and then they're not getting engagement on the post. And, the question to me is like, why am I not getting engagement on your post? Well, you didn't ask for it. You didn't ask people to respond. You didn't ask them to share their thoughts. You didn't ask them to tag it in or save. So if you start asking them, they'll start doing. And not everyone all the time, but you're going to get more people responding if you do ask for their participation than if you don't ask for any at all.
Yep, guilty as charged. That yeah, I hear you on that, and one of the things that I started doing because I do tend to not have a CTA, any kind of CTA at the end, like even a thought, is I actually did put together a bunch of different ones and I kind of put them into text expander, so I have my little list and I can just pop that in to try to get feedback. And I have just put a call out in the chat to please do give us a question if
Mhm.
you have one. I'd love for us to talk about, and we've talked about this before, um, the whole idea of what do I post? And I don't see the be vulnerable so much anymore. Although I was messaging you recently that I was on LinkedIn scrolling and I saw like two posts of guys in a hospital bed. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, uh, a little much for me. I wouldn't want to do that. And I think of it as sort of, the private area, I'm pretty private person myself.
Mhm.
And so if I was getting a divorce, I wouldn't be talking about it on LinkedIn. I mean, it's okay if you want to, but not for me. And personal for me is like me and with the dogs or me with my husband. And then of course the professional. But I'm curious like what are your thoughts about that? Because this seems to be an ongoing question as long as I've been on social media.
Yeah, I don't think there's a one size fits all response to this, honestly. And I think it's whatever feels right to you.
Yes.
But I think you have to think about who is your ideal target audience and are they going to respond to this type of content? So, the person in the hospital bed, for example, and now this might be a scenario where they are facing a life threatening or life ending disease and they're announcing to the world, this is happening to me. And this is their way of sharing the news.
Mhm.
I'm in the hospital with an appendectomy or, whatever else is going on. They're just kind of sharing I feel like oversharing. Like, this is what I had for lunch today, and I was in the hospital last week, and I mean, it's like, why does your ideal target audience care about it? And yeah, the hospital bed post might get you a boost of engagement because we as human beings, we're not much different. We see somebody in a hospital bed, we're like, oh my gosh, is that person okay? We pause to look at it. And depending on what you've said, if somebody's in a health situation and you know them, you're probably inclined to say, gosh, Annette, I hope your procedure goes well and a smooth recovery. Like, you're going to say something because it's etiquette to say something. So that kind of boosts up your engagement. And then you get those endorphins. Oh, if I do more hospital bed vulnerable style posts, I'll get more engagement. But come end of the day, who cares if you're getting engagement if your goals aren't being met on LinkedIn? If your goal is to generate more business, more brand visibility, to generate more leads, if your posts aren't generating that, then who cares? You know?
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, that seems to be for me the topic that's kind of ever present on there. What do you think? What would your ever present thing that I don't know, maybe you think is great or you think is bad or whatever?
Yeah, I'm seeing a rise in AI generated posts lately and AI generated comments lately and AI generated images instead of real people images and things like that. And I think if that's going to be the case, if we're just going to use AI to generate a post and then our AI tools are going to comment on our behalf and they're going to post comment, then why bother go on LinkedIn anymore? Like, to me, I get the value of using AI for content generation. I have clients I work with, they struggle with how do I say, I was talking to one client the other day and English is not his primary first language. So he uses the AI to help smooth it out, make sure grammar's correct before posting and publishing. But I always say, but read it before you post it. Does it sound like something you would say? Like, I remember when it first came out, when I would do podcast summaries, my AI tool would say, this is a treasure trove of and I'm like, I don't think I've ever used the term treasure trove. Like, why would I use that in there? And there's like the M dashes and things like that, and the overuse of emojis like the rocket emoji and things like that are surefire, like, this is something. But I guess it's for me, it's a bit of a pet peeve when we're using AI as a replacement for content creation, or if we're using it entirely without making sure that it feels like us and it sounds like us. I mean, my test is always if I was sitting across from my ideal target audience, Annette, if I read this to her, would Annette, feel like it was me talking to her, or would she go, that kind of feels stilted, or that doesn't sound like you. Brenda, are you okay? Like, she like would she think it's me, or would she think it was me? Would she go, was that meant for me? You ever get emails and you're like, was this meant for me? Because I'm not that.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, all the time.
Mhm.
It's so funny because when I love AI and I use it a lot, but what I generally do is I will dictate my thoughts into the AI and then have it sort of organize it and then
Yeah,
obviously work and give me a draft and me have it edit it for there. And a lot of it's just organizing it for me.
yeah.
But I get a lot of overwhelm is like, oh please, not another time that there's
Overwhelmed.
overwhelm.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we have a question in our chat here, so I'm gonna pose that. I'm gonna maybe I'll start on this. So posted. This is from Sue Griffey, and she says posting including video. I feel like everything is pushing towards vertical video. I'm more
Yeah.
comfortable with landscape. LinkedIn's panel for posts is rectangle. And I thought since vertical video wastes the landscape, real estate, and so I'm guessing we're leading more towards landscape because it kind of cut off
Yep.
there. So
Yep.
for me, I am pushing people to do vertical video because LinkedIn has the tab, and my understanding is that is the preferred across platforms. Plus, for me, it gives me the opportunity because I share pretty much the same videos across platforms.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that? I think you primarily do vertical as well.
I think for the same reasons you do. I used to joke, Annette, that I'm a lazy marketer, and people are like, "No, you're not. You're just really efficient." Because what I will do now is I'll create a vertical video, and I followed people like you and Vicky O'Neill who give me great video advice, and it's like create it once and then post it. What I do is I create it once and then I'll use like CapCut or something. Actually, I've started using inside TikTok. It has like the animated life emoji, like the emojis pull in with the captions. You know what I'm talking about?
No, no, I'll have to check it out.
I'll have to look it up. It's in TikTok. If you go into the captions, and it's like life in motion is the captioning style. And it types out the text, but then it has emojis that come into it as well. So I'll do the video up in TikTok, add the life in motion captioning with the emojis in it, and then I pull the video down from TikTok to my phone. And it does have a TikTok watermark on it, but who cares? Then I upload it from there into Instagram, or I'll upload it into LinkedIn or upload it into YouTube because I've got the burned in captions that are a part of it. Now, my technique here is I don't add in music from TikTok because it's only licensed from TikTok. So then if I upload it to YouTube, it'll get like a disclaimer and it'll get kicked off saying you can't use that here. And you can certainly, I don't know if you can create a video. I don't think you can download it with the burned in captions unless you've published it, but you could delete it right away and then re-upload it with music inside TikTok. So there's some workarounds I think you could do there.
Here's what I do with TikTok and to get rid of the music, excuse me, is if you go in TikTok and you do whatever you're doing and you click the next and you go in and put your caption in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the caption, then I go back and then I do download it without the watermark. So I can do that. But if I don't want the music, I take that and pop that into CapCut and just mute the music.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. The idea is to, if you can, use the platform music.
Yeah.
Partly,
Yeah.
I've also understand from my video coach that that's how you get more engagement. So I guess that's so we're kind of doing the same thing, I think.
We are. And going back to Sue's question, I don't know if it was necessarily a question, but she says she feels more comfortable with landscape style video instead of vertical video. And
Yep.
and Sue, you got to do what you feel comfortable with. Like it doesn't matter what we tell you, it's like whatever you're comfortable with. But if you want to get more reach, be aware that LinkedIn is giving a preference to portrait style video, the up and down video. And even if you go on the LinkedIn app right now, you're going to notice there's a new video feed that's inside there. And if I have not yet seen a horizontal video in there. And I think they're only publishing vertical videos. Is that what you've seen as well?
Yeah, the only landscape videos that I see on the social media apps anymore are primarily like a news program or something like that, where
Right.
if they have an interview and they have the landscape, and you can't do that, and it'll do the black around it. But
Right.
no, I'm with you. And again, also, I'm all for record once, share everywhere. Not all necessarily the same day, but if it's vertical, it's YouTube short and Instagram, which hates me, so I don't do Instagram much, TikTok, Substack,
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And it's also, and this is one thing that I will mention about LinkedIn also, is that I had learned a while ago to start making, the carousels or the document posts, rather than square, to do them in a 15 by 12 um, 1500 by 1200 pixel format, because you get that length and it takes up more space in the feed. So
Yeah.
that's, I would say, another reason for doing it in the portrait.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, it's certainly knowing these little nuances. Like now we're we're not at LinkedIn 101. We're at like 201 or 301. We're like trying to get more space in the homepage feed. And I think going back to the topic, it's like stop overthinking what you're posting on LinkedIn. I know there was a couple people we were talking about this. Was it yesterday? We were talking about this and people were like, "Oh, I need to come to that because I that's me all the time. I'm always overthinking what I'm doing." And my advice is you got to just start posting, because a lot of people getting over that hurdle of that confidence or is this silly? Did I say it? Like you got to just go post. Keep in mind you can edit your post. I typically recommend waiting 15 to 20 minutes because it mess with the algorithm if you edit it too quickly. But I edit my posts all the time. If you look at my post, it'll say edited at the top because I see a typo or if I'm doing voice to text and it picks it up wrong or whatever. Or I look at like yesterday I did an event post and I was really in a hurry to get out of the house, but I'm like, I need to get this post up. So I published it. And later on in the day, I came back to it again and I made some edits and I added some additional text to it. So all of us overthink it. I want to let people know that if you are overthinking it, you are not alone. The best way to overcome overthinking it is to just do it. Like just publish your posts, live with them, learn from them. Even the ones that don't do well, you will learn from. You'll have basis for comparison. You can start to establish some benchmarks, what works, what doesn't work. And also there's a lot of conversation right now in net about comments getting more reach than posts. Are you experiencing that as well, or have you heard any of the conversation yet?
I hear people talking about that all the time. I am guilty of not commenting, as much as I should. I'm not haven't been on LinkedIn as often, but I have occasionally I see something where I will get a lot more engagement on a comment. But that's also if you post and I comment on your post and you comment back to me, and if somebody else comments and you kind of build that comment thread,
Mm.
and so, I do try to do that. I think I probably learned that from you. The idea is if someone comments on your post, respond to them, but don't just say, "Oh, thank you," but try to give some kind of a,
Yeah. Like,
response like you would if you were in
but
person.
yeah, if you're in person, like you would say thanks and you might it's kind of like impromptu, like improv. Like when they teach you in improv, somebody says something, you say something back, you say so you have to listen to what they say in order to think about what to say back to them. And you're not just saying thank you. You're trying to keep the commentary going. One thing I was sharing about a commenting strategy. If you're in the US and if you go on your LinkedIn in the desktop in the upper right hand corner, and I don't know if you know about this, Annette, but there's LinkedIn news and there's like these trending articles that are on the platform. I try to at least once a week go in and find an article that is something related to my area of expertise or the industry that I work in. And then I add a thoughtful comment. So, in particular, it was like a few weeks ago, there was a reporter from Bloomberg who was commenting about the job search market and how there's so many people looking for jobs now that the people that are overqualified and aren't getting jobs, they're now settling for service-based roles. They're taking retail jobs and working in hotels and things like that. And it kind of was like the headline was like one of these it prompted you to go, wait a minute, like one of those. So I went in the comments and I'm like, you know what? I've talked to, and in the comment, I said, I've been working with job seekers over the years and the climate right now is different. And I've known people who've been looking for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and they're at the point where unemployment has run out and they need money and they need benefits. So they have taken a retail job or a service based job. And you know what? Sometimes you got to put your pride up on a shelf and say, I need money coming in and I need benefits right now. And those employees are going to be great employees. They're going to be hardworking and driven and dedicated. And they're going to show up and they're going to do their job. And if and when they find another job, they're going to give a 2 week notice or at least a courtesy of a 2 week notice and see what the manager says before they leave. And I didn't say all these things, but I'm basically, I was like, there's no shame in taking a job to get income coming in. And it got like 20,000 comments on there. So I think that was a great combination of topic was trending. A lot of people are talking about unemployment and taking jobs. And it was an area of my expertise. I do support a small subset of people who are in career transition, working but looking as well. But that strategy of like going into the LinkedIn news and finding something once a week, if you're struggling with overthinking what to post on LinkedIn, don't even worry about posting. Just go find something to comment on.
Yes, yes, thank you. I do have to speak up really quickly as I talk about all the time. I was a bartender for years, and I will tell you, any communication skills I have and getting over talking to strangers, I learned there.
Yeah.
The people I worked with were actually some of the best educated people. This also they're just, getting work, but it is really, working in retail, working with the public is really, really, very educational. Very
Yeah.
educational. And so you're talking about the idea of not being perfect and going back. And I will mention too, when people are overthinking their idea of video,
Yeah.
um, and thanks for bringing us back to that, is people, they think, oh, my video is this, oh, my video is that. You have to realize that first, even people, like us, that, I think we do a pretty good job with video. It's not the first take. It's not the
Yeah.
first take, and people that you see with these really professional looking videos, they have a team. So they have a team often, and they talk about it, they have a team walking with them and everything, and then they have a video editing team working on their videos, so of course they look polished, and
Yeah.
so I think that's the thing, um, is from all of this, the idea that, stop thinking that you have to be perfect.
Yeah. You don't have to. I think the real videos do really well. It's you can tell they're not overly choreographed, and I there's something about the relatability factor too in that, like, when I see a video and I know the person did the video themselves, and it probably, I know from experience, it probably took them a couple takes, and, maybe there was a couple points in the video that weren't perfect. I'm not critiquing them, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this was a real person, real life video, and I will always videos from people I know, I always comment on them, and if I know it was the first time for them doing a video or something we've talked about before, I'll send them a direct message. Hey, Annette, you did such a great job on the video. Love seeing your dogs in there. Wonderful work. Was that on the first take? And they're like, no, it took me 11 times to get that message. But but thank you for thinking. I'm like, see, you can't tell. You can't tell in a video if it was the first take or the 40th take. You just know
No,
it was.
no, no, you're absolutely right, and you just made me think too that a lot of times, even if you're working with a speech coach and people think that, "Oh, I have to worry about the and the ah, and I'm a so this, so that, But they say that, there we go again, that you
Yeah.
shouldn't eliminate all of those
The
because
filler.
it makes you less human, and I've seen people doing TEDx talks that are, say, a little here and there.
Hmm. Yeah. I think focusing on the fact that you're using filler words as crutches makes you more aware of the fact that you're saying them. And I'm being very careful not to use, you can tell right now because I'm slowing down my rate of speed as I'm doing that. But I think using intentionality to focus on them to eliminate them from your speech, it allows people to hear the message you're trying to say. So you could tell when I just slowed everything down, the pacing of it, I didn't use words like, so, to add qualifiers to it. I think right? It helps to get that message across. It helps that message to land better. And the white space that you add in there instead of filler words helps to cement that message for your audience.
Yeah. No, you're right, you're right, you're right. It is a challenge, and I had somebody once tell me, a speaking coach, say that as you're speaking, that if you feel like you're gonna say something like that, to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, to pause, was, like, just without having the mouth open, just pause for a second, to pause in between.
Mhm.
And so I will say that we got on here not knowing how long we were going to be. We've been
Yeah.
here for 30 minutes, which
Mhm.
the time just flew by for me. I hope it did for you. So, before we, close out here, this replay will be in my drafts. I will post it to my Substack. Brenda will post it to her Substack as well. So
Yeah.
you can watch it. Please do subscribe to us to know the next time we're going to be doing a live promo. And, I have to say thanks so much for being here. People are running off to other meetings. Any last words for you, Brenda, before we say goodbye to the live?
I'm going to give you my Sue Griffey pom poms and say, great job, Annette. You did great today.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's always a treat to hang out with you, and thanks to everyone who has joined us. It was so fun and ready for the next time already. So,
Yeah.
bye.
Take care. Thank you.